Your people are your business. Positive Change Consulting focus is leadership, helping you build staff commitment to your business. Great staff build your business, so learn how to build leadership skills, develop teamwork, manage people and business performance, and then celebrate the outcomes. Managing people is so often the hard stuff about work, yet it doesn't have to be difficult. It's about giving and receiving feedback at the right time and in the right way. Jennifer McCoy from Positive Change Consulting is with me. Welcome.
Thank you, Mark.
Leadership, is it natural or do you have to develop it? How does it occur? I mean, we all say somebody's a natural leader, but is that the case?
Some people are. They do have that natural ability. It's often the interpersonal skills that they bring to a situation, but those are the sort of things that can be developed. People, once they're made aware of those interpersonal skills, then they can be trained to develop them.
All right, I know we haven't got a whole lot of time, but just quickly, how do we develop those skills and teach people to be leaders?
There are a number of strategies just in staff management that can be trained. They're often structural things, but these days we can test or assess people's what we're calling emotional intelligence.
Right.
And there are tools that you can use, one in particular, the Genos tool, which is an Australian one.
Right.
And highly regarded. So people can be assessed according to their emotional intelligence, and then you can coach them to develop those skills. And all of those contribute to their leadership skill.
Emotional intelligence, as I squirm in my seat here, I mean, I'd probably fail because I'm a big sook, but what actually is emotional intelligence?
It boils down to interpersonal skills, the ability to listen to people, take into account the concerns they might have, just tune into people, often just listening to them.
That's hard, isn't it, to listen?
It's very hard.
I mean, I butted in then, but that's actually hard to listen. We all have our own mind made up on something. We say, that's what it's all about. To hear the other person's point of view is a real challenge at times.
Often because you're trying to think yourself what you're going to say next, so you don't listen. I always like to reassure people too that we can actually think and process something in our brain at about 500 to 600 words per minute, but we can only speak at about 120 words per minute. So there's lots of time for thinking about planning what you're going to do that night or the reports you've got to write, and while the other person is speaking. And so you have to learn. That's one little thing you need to learn, is be aware of that failing, if you like, and focus on the other person to listen. But I talk to staff members so often, they say, oh, if only the boss would listen. If they just listen to me.
Is that one of the major problems? People are not listening?
I think so. Yes, I do.
So the communication breaks down.
Yes, yeah. And that's one aspect, and a very crucial aspect of emotional intelligence.
What other challenges do you see?
In leadership?
Yes.
It's often perhaps a lack of confidence, but we teach people how to be coaches, so coaching skills for managers and team leaders. And that trains them in some of these essential skills and teaches them how to coach their staff. So it's not only just the one-on-one approach that I would use, but training them as well in their workplace, how to use those same coaching skills to work with their staff.
And that's a challenge too, to actually get people to teach others to pass on knowledge. I mean, that's another skill itself. So you've got all these challenges.
Yes. Yeah,
how important is the coaching part in a business, with the staff, for example?
I think it's enormously important because people often don't have the confidence. They might lack the actual skill to do the job, and rather than blaming, then it's sometimes quite easy to tune in, if you know how to coach them, to listen, to find out how you might help them acquire that skill, and sometimes it's to bring out just to bring out their potential, so that they can take on something new.
Because we often hear about people who become, they advance up the ladder because of the number of years they've been there, but it doesn't mean they have that experience. They've just been there for the number of years. So to develop that communication skill and to listen and to I suppose to appraise and act on that it's a process. So how long does it take to be taught or to be coached to be a good listener or a good leader?
I don't think it takes so long. I couldn't put a time frame on it. But often those people it's not just the length of time they've been in their business, but they've been promoted because of their expertise in a particular, perhaps let's say technical area of skill.
Right.
But when they're promoted, they go into management, which involves managing, leading people. And that's where they don't necessarily have the training. And so it's the people skills that they need to acquire. And part of that is making them aware of the skills and then gradually helping them acquire those. So there's an element of training and also an element of coaching to help them translate that training into their own life and work.
Do enough companies place enough importance on what we're talking about now?
I think there's increasing numbers of people and numbers of companies that are doing that, but also individuals. I've had individual clients who've come to me because they've taken on a management role and they've suddenly realised that they were brilliant at their previous job and realising the lack, and there was no support within their company for them to train. So they came independently, and it was going through those same things. How do you develop those people skills? What are those skills and how might they do it? Then testing them out, coming back, keeping their records. There's a range of skills involved in coaching.
And it's a matter of, I suppose, enabling your staff or the people that work for the company, which is the company, to become more efficient in how they develop as leaders and communicators anyway.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, positive change consulting. If somebody needs to find out more about it, how do they do that?
There's I have a website with www.positivechange.com.au.
Right.
And all of the contact details are on that. That's probably the best way.
So it's www.
Positivechange, all one word.
Yes.
.com.au.
Yes. And what about if they just want to get on the telephone and talk to you? How do you have a number they can contact you?
Yes, it's if they're ringing within Australia, it's 03 9563 4028 or a mobile number.
Yep.
Do that. 0425 726 340.
Fantastic. I mean, we could talk about all sorts of things. I think they're very important for companies. We don't utilise the resources or the people we have, enough. I mean, and if you look around, you can see there's businesses that could actually utilise the staff more and become more productive and better companies. So I mean, it's to their advantage to give you a call and have a chat. Jennifer, thank you very much.
Thank you.